Welcome to Channel 17, the Town of Colonie Government Channel.
Welcome to Colonie Close-Up. I'm Town Councilman Frank Mauriello, the Town Board's liaison to the Parks and Recreation Department. And I'm here with Town Supervisor Mary Brizzell and Kevin Morgan, who is the manager of the Crossings of Colonie Town Park. And we're here today to talk about the Crossings. Since its opening in 2003, it has been tremendously popular, a true crown jewel of the town, and an asset to all of our residents. And what I'd like to do is start with Supervisor Brizzell. Mary, could you tell us a little bit about the history of that parcel of land, and what were some of the other proposed uses for that land?
The sequence started of 1997, buying a piece in 1998, and again in 2000, until we had the 130 acres that we have today.
I see. Tell us a little bit about the design process. I noticed many of the buildings are modeled after Shaker architecture. And there's a nice park square. What was some of the thought that was put into the design?
Again, there was a lot of thought given to how the park should look, and with that, I appointed a park committee, and from there we went to interviewing design consultants, and after a lengthy process of interviews, narrowed it down and finally selected Clough Harbor to lead the design project. And again, they worked very closely with the park committee. I was an active participant in that. I've been from the word go on this project, hands-on with it, because it meant so much to me. And with that, we came up with a number of different schematic designs and different areas of the land and what they should represent. And the whole idea of the way the buildings are designed and what they look like today, again, I think goes back to the heritage of the land. It was all farmland back in the 30s, 40s. A lot of the people that were the original settlers in the town of Colonie, these were their farms. The whole idea of having the Shaker heritage site close to us near the Albany International Airport, we thought that was a good feel to keep that kind of a design. And so that's where we kind of went with the consultant kind of giving us options, and then us, the park committee, actually picking and choosing what we envisioned it to look like. And it wasn't just an in-house committee. We had members of the business community, the school community, along with town employees on this committee. And I just think they've done a fantastic job over the years of bringing this all to fruition.
Now, there are a number of features that are designed into the park. And Kevin, I'd like to ask you, what are some of the features that the park has to offer?
Well, Frank, it's first of all, it has about 130 acres in total. Very pastoral, and it has a trail system. It's about 5.5 miles of paved trails for biking, walking, rollerblading. There's a 3-acre pond. As you first drive in, that's the first thing you really notice. And it's kind of a reflecting pond. There's a path around it. We use it for ice skating in the wintertime. There's 2 buildings, again, that mimic the Shaker architecture, that encompass our area we call Park Square. And there's one that's called the Meeting House, and that has 2 rooms that are available for rentals and different town functions that we have. The other building we call the Barn. It mimics it. You'll see it has a cupola on it and a weather vane, very reminiscent of barn. It has barn stalls. We use them for putting different vendors in when we have town events. So that all centers around Park Square. That's an entity in itself. And in that Park Square, there's also a large gazebo that we use when we have different functions. In Park Square, we have weddings and different events, different town events. We have music there, and we put it under the gazebo. There's a playground that's about 10,000 square feet playground that's state-of-the-art. It's a barrier-free playground. It's very well received. There's a Victorian maze garden that was donated to the park, and as well as was the playground. And as you move out further into the park, it really gets more, bucolic. It's rolling hills. There's it's designed in different rooms, I think is the term the architect used, that put, there's wetlands areas, there's woodland areas, and the trail system links all these different areas together. So that really is the basis for the park. I'd say that kind of comprises.
And as you talk about some of these features, I know the playground has consistently been rated as one of the best playgrounds in the capital region, and I know it was generously donated to the town of Colonie. Mary, maybe you could tell us a little bit about the playground itself.
Well, you're right, Frank. And when we were designing the park, the playground was certainly one of the key components of it. And through the generosity of the late Sal Beltram's family, we were able to come up with what we call a barrier-free playground, which again, as you say, has been rated top in the capital region. And when we did investigation as to what it should look like, how large it should be, but it was that generosity of the Beltram Family Foundation that made that the size and the type of playground possible.
And also, Kevin had mentioned the maze, and that also was donated, and I guess there's a story behind that as well.
And the maze, again, I'm very pleased about the maze, particularly because it was donated by one of the many Huffman families that are in the town of Colonie, and this was Tom and Carol Huffman, who I happened to graduate from Colonie High School with. And they not only donated it, they built it, and they have continued to maintain it at their expense.
And Kevin, I know there are other parts of the park, other features that were donated. What are some of the other features that were donated in the park?
Well, we have a walkway, Frank, that was recognized soon after the playground, after the park opened up in September 2003, and the playground was in full swing. We recognized that we needed a good link between the playground and Park Square. There was so much foot traffic, mothers with children and things, and we looked into doing a walkway, and some conversation with a local contractor, Jerry Paris, resulted in his taking on the project with the help of bonded concrete. Supplied the concrete for the cement walkways, which was very generous of both individuals, and made for a great project. So now we have a nice dual walkway that connects Park Square with the playground. It's tree lined, and it really came out quite nice. We also have other people respond in other ways. We've had people approach us and ask if they could plant trees as like a living memorial for a loved one. And we've had a number of those requests that we've honored, and we've also had people who've asked to donate park benches. So it's interesting to see the people come and ask what they can do for the park. It's very nice.
Oh, that's great.
Recently, we had we've got I could call it a donation of sorts, really a sponsorship, but we've begun to have music in the gazebo on Thursday nights for the month of July and August, and that's sponsored by Villano Brothers. They're a local contracting company. They've been in Colonie for many years, and so many people have responded very well to the park and have donated time, talent, or treasure to it.
Okay. Now, you had mentioned that the park is about 130 acres, so I'm sure that may take some work to maintain, and so I'm just curious as to, tell us about the maintenance aspect of the park. How many employees do you have? What do they do?
Sure. Well, it's extensive because there's so much within that 130 acres, and there's almost different components of it. We have 4 full-time maintenance people, but we also supplement that with part-time seasonal people to take care. We average about 30 hours a week mowing. So there's so much to do, and there's another 20 hours on top of that to weed whack and trim. There's over 1,000 plantings in the park, new trees and shrubs, and all need to be trimmed and maintained and looked after. So we're quite busy doing that. But we have good equipment that helps us, and we try to keep it, as neat and clean as we can. That's a whole nother portion of it. Cleanliness is a high priority. We have the public rooms, and we have a custodial component that we're always continually seeing that the playground's kept clean and the different public areas, the park square, there's a gathering room, and any of those public areas we're always, keeping after as well. So the maintenance, we're very fortunate. We've got a very good staff, and everybody does their job, and we've gotten a lot of compliments on how the park is kept, and that always makes us feel good.
Oh, it does. It does look very good. It always looks
Thank
good.
you.
Just I'd like to go back to the events that you hold at the park, and talk about the rental of the rooms, the Shaker Meeting House. There, and you had mentioned there are 2 rooms there, a large room and a small room. We have a number of pavilions around in the park, and we also have the gazebo by the lake. If someone wanted to rent these buildings, how do they do so? What type of activities can you have there? Possibly, if you know the cost, what the cost is to rent them. Can they just, if they wanted to just rent the pavilion, can they do so, or just the gazebo, or just the small meeting room? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, well, the whole scenario would start that someone would contact. We do the bookings through our main park office, and that's up at the north end of town, and that's where the bookings originate. So people call up and they say, we're looking to do some type of event, and they'll describe what it is, whether it's an anniversary, a birthday party, what have you. Sometimes people choose, they want to do an outdoor event. We have 3 pavilions. They're all the same size. 2 of them are close to the playground area in Park Square. One is located at the back of the park that's a little more secluded. So you categorize things right away, find out what the folks are looking for, and direct them there, through questioning and what it is they'd like to have. And different things can be, you're right, things can be rented in conjunction. Sometimes we'll have a walk, or a run, and people will want both Park Square and they'll want a pavilion, and they might want an indoor room. So we rent things in a number of different ways. But to get back to it, the pavilions are rentable. The meeting house is rentable, and in that there's 2 rooms. There's the main meeting room.
What's the capacity of the main meeting room?
That holds up to 100 people.
Okay.
And we do, various events there. People have, anniversary parties, birthday celebrations, you name it, we seem to have them there.
Do we cater to the business community?
Yes, that typically, our executive room kind of works nicely for that. We have a smaller room that holds groups up to about 40 people, and that has a conference table and chairs and some upholstered furniture in it, and it has a nice fireplace. It's a smaller room. It's paneled, and quite often businesses, we've had client appreciation meetings there, or to discuss, meeting topics and things like that. So yeah, we see quite a variety of different, rental activity there.
Now, what types of events are scheduled for this summer and through the fall of this year?
Well, again, I'll go back. I'll mention the music again, because that's the other night was our first. July 12th was our first, and it was very popular. I'd estimate there was probably about 300 people there, and it was an orchestra, and it was a wonderful night, and people just had a great time. The park square was really alive, and I think people really enjoyed it. So we're looking to continue that, and that was the first in a series of 5 events that we're going to have. But the town also does each year since we've opened. Really, we've tried to do. We have a nice little Easter event, and it's geared toward children. We have treats for them, and we have music, so we have some entertainment, and we have Mr. and Mrs. Rabbit walk around, and families can take the picture of the the children with them. And we also do a Halloween event. They do arts and crafts, and they have some entertainment for that, and hand out treats. We have in the fall of the year, we have probably what's our signature event is the we call it the Fall Harvest Fest, and that was really a spin-off of our grand opening, which was in September of 2003. So Mrs. Brizzell, recognized that how popular that was and how people responded to it, and asked us if we could do it again, and has planned with us each year to do that. But we've got more of a little bit of a harvest. It's held in September, late September, early October, and we now do a farmer's market there, and we have food vendors and craft vendors and a lot of music, and it's very nice.
The tree lighting ceremony at one time was held at Town Hall, and Mary, you've moved that over to the Crossings.
Yes, I have, and I think we've we've certainly gained a lot more participants for that celebration by moving it over there, and I've been fortunate enough to have fireworks incorporated with that, and you know, the setting is just great.
I can recall the first year we did that, and we had a little light snow when the fireworks were shut off, and it was an absolutely gorgeous night.
That was a Christmas card picture.
It was, without a doubt, without a doubt. What other events do you know of that maybe are scheduled for the future? So, tell me something about the bands or the concerts that we have there. Who's performing?
Well, they're free to the public, and we just had the Georgie Wonders Orchestra, 16 or 18-piece orchestra. They're mostly swing music, you know, from the 40s, and there were people up dancing. You know, it was really some great music. We've got the Pipe Kings coming up. I don't have the schedule in front of me, Frank, but I want to say the Pipe Kings are coming up this coming Thursday, and we have the I think it's the Joey Prey Quartet. I hope I've got the name right, but they're all good groups that play in the area at different functions and things. And like I say, again, it was made possible through the generous sponsorship of the Villano brothers. So we're looking forward to those. But we also have our Colony Town Band plays, and we also have the Ralph Aquaro Orchestra coming up. That's July 16th, this Monday. So there's a number of things, but what I'd suggest people do is maybe look at our website. It's published there, or they can call us, you know, at the park office to get information on those events.
Now, I understand certain groups can also use the park on a regular basis if they want to. I understand you have a sailing club, model sailing club
yeah,
there?
in a modest way. We look at things that are complementary to the park, and we were approached by a local sailing club, and they meet there at the park at our pond every Tuesday afternoon. About 3 o'clock they gather and they sail as long as conditions permit, you know, right up till dusk. And it's great fun to watch. They're a great group of guys, and there's some ladies in it as well. And they it's very competitive, and it's something, you know, to, as you walk or rollerblade along, take 10 or 15 minutes to watch, and people really seem to enjoy it.
Do they actually race the boats?
Yes, they do. They have buoys out there that it gets competitive. It's all on a good nature course, and they race for a trophy, and the bragging rights.
And when we talk about the pond, is the pond stocked with fish?
Well, you know, that's a good question. We never actively stocked it, but somehow it has happened. We have goldfish. We have what they call koi fish, which are large ornamental fish. And I see we have some bass, and we have some bluegills, otherwise known as sunnies. And it really isn't that much of a mystery. I've noticed on the shoreline several times people, I think, have dumped them in. You see some of the remnants of the aquarium. But I would caution people against that because, you know, they might introduce some species of fish that may not do well or survive well in that pond. So I certainly wouldn't encourage that. But the fish that are there all seem to coexist well, and it's nice for people to see, especially the schools of goldfish. They're very colorful. They come to the surface. People like to see it.
That's nice. That is very nice. Mary, are there any future plans for the park?
Well, I'm always looking to see if we can possibly expand the number of acres of the park. There is some vacant land left around the perimeters, but again, that's something that remains to be seen as far as being able to acquire any of that. But right now we're in a mode where we've been in existence for a number of years, and our park committee is still in existence. We just met this past week, and there's always not only the maintenance of the park and those issues that arise, but also wanting to add new amenities to it. So you know, I think it's an ongoing process, and it certainly has been so successful that you know, sometimes that has presented problems also.
Those are good problems, though.
But they are good problems, and no matter where I go, not only in the town of Colonie, but around the capital region and beyond, the Crossings of Colonie is certainly known far and wide.
I know there are some special little stories about the crossings, and Kevin, I think you can share maybe a story or two.
Well, the crossings affects a lot of people in a lot of different ways. I mean, but they're all positive. I always have people approaching me and telling me how much they enjoy the park and what it means to them, and that's always great feedback to hear. The story I think you're referring to, we discussed the other day, is about our sailing club. They were approached. This was last year. I want to say in October last year. They were approached by a young gentleman who desired to propose to his girlfriend at the park. And that's happened many times, but this I thought was unique about it because his idea was that while they were sailing their boats, he wanted to place the ring, the engagement ring, on the mast of one of the sailing boats and have the fellow who was controlling it remotely to sail it aground on the opposite shore, where he and his girlfriend had spread a picnic blanket and were just enjoying watching the sailing. And upon grounding, he was going to investigate it and find the ring, which is just how it came off. And the ship didn't sink. There were a lot of variables, so the boat didn't sink, so he was lucky. But he went out, rolled his pant legs up, ran out to the boat, found it, and said, what's this I found, and popped the question, and luckily she agreed. So it was just a great story, and I think it made the papers. And but it was just kind of evident of the things that happen there, that impact people, and they're so great. And I see it on a daily basis. I feel very fortunate to work there. I'm very proud, to be associated with something that's so first rate. And but yeah, it's always a delight when you see the enjoyment that people are having at the park and know that you're part of it. And so many people worked and did so much to make that park happen. So that's a wonderful thing.
That's a great story. And before we close, I'd like to talk about maybe some of the nuts and bolts issues or questions that people would have. What are the phone numbers you would call to book an event or to book a pavilion? What are the hours of the park?
Sure. Yeah, we're there. The park's
entrances of the park, things like that.
Yeah, okay. The entrance it's at 580 Albany Shaker Road. It's right down from the top, the north end of Wolf Road, let's say, past the town library, if you're heading east. And the hours are from dawn to dusk. We have walkers there at 5:30, 6 o'clock. And as the sun goes down, that's the closing time. But if people are interested and want to learn more about the park or would like to make a reservation, they can call our town park office, and the number there is 783-2760. And they can get more information through that, or they can go online and to the www.colonie.org and access the Parks and Recreation website there, or link, and the Crossings is within that. And there's quite a bit of information there. There's even some photographs of the park, so there's some information that would be helpful there, I think.
And there are a number of entrances. You can access the park through Metro Park.
Yes, that's right. I'm sorry.
Maria Drive.
Yeah, that's right. Off Wolf Road on Metro Park, brings you into a cul-de-sac, and there's some picnic tables out there. There's off Maria Drive, as you mentioned. There's a parking lot there. Those are the three vehicular entrances, but there's also pedestrian entrances off Nauf Lane. We're linked to the Beltrone seniors housing with a path. There's a pedestrian entrance at Alyssa Court, Prince Lane. So there's many different points, and of course off Albany Shaker too. There's a nice sidewalk that goes down the length of Albany Shaker and a crosswalk, and there's a traffic signal stop there so that people can get safely across. So there's a number of entrances, and each one of them gets an influx of people every day. We have, we've done some traffic counts and things like that to track attendance, and on a sunny day, you can average, between 1,000 and 2,000 vehicles, and maybe 2 to 3 people per vehicle. So when the sun's out, the Crossings is crowded.
Very busy, very
Yes.
busy. That's good. And one of the features we forgot to mention, Mary, I think you were also responsible for this, were the chess tables that are there.
Oh, yes, I've forgotten about those. Yes, I was contacted by a gentleman who really wanted to have a few chess tables at the Crossings and other parks around the town to expose his grandchildren to playing chess. And so, yes, we do have them, and very popular.
And I've noticed when I've been at the park, I've seen people using the tables, and I
I'll
know it's
mention
been
here, Frank,
featured
you
a
know, we
number of
also have,
times.
just so people know it, at the office, we have board games that we will, you know, sign out to people so that they can enjoy them. So they don't have to bring their own chess pieces. We have them in the park office, and we have some checkers and a couple other different things that people are welcome to use there.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I know you have, in the area where you have the vending machines, you have a couple of picnic tables set up where the restrooms are as well. I mean,
Yeah, we
is
call
that
that the gathering room.
is that an activity area as well that you use for people?
Well, it's really just a public room. Yeah, as you mentioned, there's some vending machines there. People come in and have lunch there, you know, if they want to get out of the sun or it's inclement weather. But it's really a multi-use room. When we have town events, there, you know, we'll put different things over there for people to see. But it also serves, excuse me, it serves as a little locker room. We have some lockers there when we have ice skating, or if people want to come in and jog and they want to change into sneakers, you know, if they've come from the workday and want to change, people use the lockers. And as I said, ice skating in the wintertime when Mother Nature allows us to. We have the pond is about 3 acres, and we have lighting on there, you know, that illuminates a portion of it. We'd like to add music at some point. But again, the lockers are there so people can change out, you know, from their shoes into the skates, and that's pretty much what we use that room for.
So in the wintertime, then the hours would be extended to accommodate the ice skating?
Well, they're actually within. We shorten our winter hours a little bit. And during the summer, you know, dusk, and yes, we do, because we've got the lighting there, we'll do it. We have some staff on to cover that time so that we can do that. Yes, that's right.
You know, as a member of the town board now for the past 8.5 years, I've worked very close with Mary in not only the development of the park, but many of the other features that are in the park are really a result of her drive and her dedication and her vision. And it's a great feature of the town. We're all very proud of it, and we do encourage everyone to use it as often as you can. And I would just like to thank Mary and Kevin for being here today and discussing the park. And any questions, again, please contact our park office, or at any time call the supervisor's office at 783-2728. Mary, thank you. Kevin, thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.